All right, the first unit we're looking at today is Android 16. What a card for them to come out and bring out for this slot. I don't think many people suspected we were going to see Android 16 here, even with the hint. Like, the hint did not scream Android 16. We're like, oh, that's Hell's Younger Day Piccolo, which I also needs representation in this game, and he doesn't have it yet. But look, if we're talking about characters that just do not have representation, he needed this so bad. I mean, I wish it was a long time ago when we had this person named, I don't know, LRAGL Super Saiyan Gohan that can go Super Saiyan 2, and it was AGL, you know, that could go on his team. You know, that would be, you know, conveniently great. Not, you know, it's not 6 years later. You know, maybe one day he easy A's and that unit super easy A's, and magically you can run them together. But it's just right now, it's you're not gonna use these two together. But this unit is pretty good. He has a guard. Guards all attacks when there's another Android category ally on the team, which means just run another Android 16. All allies defense 16%. Now, the good thing about this unit that makes him really good is the defensive support altogether. Just for existing, he gives everybody 60% defense, like on that rotation, right? Then he get, or I actually, I don't know. Is it all allies? I think it's just in general, right? Like just for existing, it's just the whole team. And then, of course, his intro act gives him another 16%, so 76% just for living and breathing. And then he gives another, where is the extra bonus? Defense. Oh, all allies 30% defense when there's an android or category. So that one's conditional because that one's requiring a category. So I imagine this is just the same rotation. I think so, from the wording of it. I'm sorry, I haven't used this unit, but I do know that from showcases and stuff, he does look pretty good. And on top of that, I mean, it's not hard to understand this unit's good. He's a slot 1 unit with 65% damage reduction, really good stats, multiplicative defense. I mean, it's not really hard to understand that he's a good unit, especially with the extra, what is it, 50% defense. Oh, I guess it is self-excluded for 2 turns. Yes, but he does have a stack on his super. He has a 4-turn stack. It's a 50%, which is really good for him as well. He also has the ability, of course, to use the active skill in any slot, which means if you use it in slot 3, you get the extra 160% defense, which is multiplicative. He gets a 160% attack, which is multiplicative, and then he gets another 160% attack, which is multiplicative. So this guy is going to be doing some really good damage. Like, from what I saw, probably around 70 to 80 mil on that active turn for his own supers, which are guaranteed crits, which is really, really good for a unit that's not really offensive based. This unit's 100% on the defensive side, but yeah, he's pretty good. I really am happy that he finally got a card, and it actually is a decent card. I don't recommend summoning at all. He's not changing the game like Goma was, but he is a really good unit. But so if you happen to pull him, great, you know, for the tickets, but I would not waste stones. We are so close to the anniversary, man, and we have no clue what that's going to look like, but very happy for 16 to get his representation, and especially getting a really good card. Easy A should help him out a ton, so we'll see where that goes from here. Next, we have Garlic Jr. Now, I did expect us to see a Garlic Jr. card at some point this year. I didn't think as a Battlefield LR, but it works, I think, and here's the funny thing with this card. It does make me wonder what the Part 2 LR is going to be. 1, 2. Where the heck is our Prime Battle LR? That is one thing I've been thinking about a lot recently. Where's the Prime Battle LR? We always get one every year. Our last one was, of course, Bio Broly for the Broly celebration, but we haven't had one since. It makes me wonder, are they saving it for New Year's? I'm not really certain. Maybe we see it as a part in the Part 2 of the celebration. Once again, I'm really not certain. And on top of that, we haven't gotten a Prime Battle Easy A or Super Easy A. Oh no, we got the Easy A with the Neo Trevian Tien. We haven't got the Super Easy A yet. So I don't know, just a lot of questions in regards to the Prime Battle LR. But yeah, I mean, Garlic Jr. got his Battlefield LR, which is honestly I'm fine with. I think Garlic Jr. This Garlic Jr. feels more like a Yellow Coin LR than a Battlefield LR, but honestly, if they start making Yellow Coin LR quality units for Battlefield, I'm 100% on board for it. Very high quality animations. He has an amazing kit. He's a perfect partner for Goma on Demonic Power. It really works well with this unit. Now, the thing is, though, if you do run him with Goma, you have to run all Demonic Power or Movie Bosses, because that 40% damage reduction is just too important to lose for this unit. He gives great support for 3 turns. He also does Rainbow Orb Change. Good multiplicative stats. He basically has 60% damage reduction at all times post super. as long as you make sure you understand the orb mechanic that he has. And then he has a revive that does not only affect him, it affects everybody around him. And then when he revives, he hits harder, he launches an additional attack, and he gives the 60% attack and defense support, and gets crit for 30% crit for the next 3 turns for demonic power and movie bosses allies. So he's an amazing support unit for this team. I mean, Goma's gonna hit stupid hard next to Garlic Jr. due to all of this support, which is really, really good. But yeah, I mean, I'm just glad he got representation. I am a little confused on why, if they were going to release a Garlic Jr. this year, have easy A's for the Kid Gohan and the Goku and Piccolo, and then not give him his own celebration. That's just a little weird to me, in my opinion. I mean, it works. It's still fine. We got Garlic Jr. I'm glad. But it does make me wonder what they're going to do with the Goku and Piccolo EZA, the Int one. Maybe they're going to save it for a Piccolo celebration. Maybe there is a redo of the 23rd World Tournament coming. You know, maybe that's something we could talk about, I suppose. Or maybe their Part 2 LR is actually going to reflect the Garlic Jr. release and not the Android 16 release, and we could see an LR tag Goku and Piccolo. I will explain that more later this week. Just stay tuned for my predictions for the Part 2 LR. There's a lot of amazing choices here, especially for the Carnival LR. But anyways, I'm done yapping. I'm really glad Garlic Jr. got an LR. All right, next we have the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku, which okay, so here's the thing, right? Like, this unit, I'm not copying here. The reason why he's on this list is because technically we did not have a Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku from this fight. We did have a Super Saiyan Blue quote-unquote Kaioken Goku from like the first year of the game, but that was, I think it was a times 10 Goku, first of all. Second of all, his animation sucked, and third of all, he wasn't even listed Kaioken, he was just Super Saiyan Blue. So this is our official Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku in this game, first one ever from the Universe 6 and Universe 7 fight. And he sucks. I mean, he could have been so much better, man. I don't get the design for this. Again, on release, I could copy him for him, right? Like, he's not the greatest TUR in the world, but he can do enough. Okay, but when they power creep ridiculously for the GDC, what's the point of even releasing this unit? It doesn't even make sense. The power creep within its own year felt like an anniversary, you know, power gap or power creep between them, and it's just like, I don't get it. I don't know why you hold back if you understand the level of power creep that is coming. So yeah, a very disappointing unit for sure. I mean, I'm glad he has his animation. I'm glad he has his representation. I'm glad that he has decent animations. His battle motion is sick. That's awesome. You're never using this guy, ever. There's no need to. His damage is too low to bear anything. His HP loss is a mechanic, but he can't hold his own. Like, if he was tanky and he got rid of 15% of your HP, okay, that's kind of okay. He's not tanky either right now in this new meta we are in. He only has 50% dodge on his first 3 turns. Like, it's just a lot of a mess with this unit that did not need to happen. So yeah, that's all I gotta say about this unit. Very disappointing unit this year, especially for a unit we were expecting for so long. Just very disappointing. All right, next we have Int Hit, and yes, you can say, well, didn't we have Hit before? Yes, but we got him from the Universe Survival Saga. Now, you also could be like, okay, but it's not like we're not looking at arc-specific stuff. I think for characters that show up in multiple arcs, we have to talk about multiple arc appearances, right? Hit shows up in the Tournament of Power, and he shows up in the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 fight. We have the USS representation, though it's not good, and his animations are not peak, but we have it. And then now we have his Universe 6 versus Universe 7 representation, which we did not have before. It is nice to have. He is way better than Blue Kaioken Goku, even though he's still not in the top 10 of units right now, but he's a decent unit. I mean, I enjoy him. It's just, there's just so much dodge canceling right now. There's a lot of dodge canceling. There's a ton of dodge canceling right now. Red Zone Broly, Tamagami 1, right? Like, there's a lot of dodge canceling right now that exists of the Goten and Gohan fight, right? Like, there's a lot of dodge canceling out there, and Hit just cannot survive in a dodge canceling economy, bro. It can't do it. The inflation's too high. So yeah, I mean, I love Hit, don't get me wrong. I mean, he's still got the representation he needed, and he's good for Festival. He's good in certain scenarios. Like, he actually has value, unlike the Blue Kaioken Goku. So it is good that he is great, and that he also has his representation in this game finally, but I do wish he was a little better, of course. I mean, both, first of all, Blue Kaioken Goku and Hit deserve to be LRs in the future. I don't know when they're going to touch these two again. Maybe somewhere in 2028, 2029, we could see some rehashes of these two cards as LRs, but if Super's coming back, man, it's gonna be really hard for us to see these cards anytime soon because they're gonna be focusing on Moro and Gas and Black Frieza. I just don't know when you're going to be able to see these guys again. So yeah, we better hope that they get a new card sometime soon because they're gonna get overshadowed eventually, as you know, like people are going to remember them. But the further you add more Dragon Ball media, the more the previous moments get forgotten. Remember, we don't even have a Namek Saga. We don't even have like Final Form Frieza as an LR in this game. Like, we barely just got some other cards we're gonna talk about in this video, and there's more representation for characters that are still missing from Super. And we haven't even got Moro and Gas and Maris and Ultra Instinct God Goku and Ultra Ego and all that stuff, right? Like, there's so much stuff that is going to occur in the future of this game. We don't even have a Do, we don't even have Ku, we don't have the Tamagamis. Like, there is so much Dragon Ball media that is left for this game, especially if there is new stuff coming, that is going to make it hard for us to revisit cards like this. So if they are going to make a good hit, you better do it soon, because I know for a fact Hit is going to start to go into the shadows a little bit, right? Just like Beerus has. Beerus is a main card. Beerus is a main guy. Name the last Beerus we've had. I can't. That's not a free-to-play LR. So, you know, it just happens that way. And, you know, I really hope that Hit doesn't get pushed back so far that this is his last good release in like 10 years again. And this is what I mean. This is the unit I'm talking about here is Mercenary Tao. This is his first release in 10 years, right? 10 years. We've had this game for 10 years? Almost 11? First release of Mercenary Tao. I understand Tao is not hype, and I'm not here to, oh, I want Dragon Ball. Like, I'm not saying that, but it is a little wild that there's still media, especially from OG Dragon Ball, that we haven't even touched. We don't have a Dokkan Fest DKP yet, just by the way, right? Like, yeah, we do have a Kid Goku from the first episode of Dragon Ball. We do have Path to Power Kid Goku, and we do have the Kid Goku that fought DKP. But we don't have a DFE DKP yet, which is insane. We have two LRs that are free to plays, but we don't have that yet. This is Tao's first card ever in this game. And you could say, okay, well, now they've kind of covered all the main stuff because the LR part 2, which we'll talk about next, they got the Tien covered too. Sure. But there is still stuff we could revisit in OG Dragon Ball that I think deserves some representation in this game that is remaining. But yeah, I mean, it is just I mean, again, Tao is good. He's very strong. He's still strong to this day. Maybe not as strong as he was on release, but he is still able to handle some tough fights by himself. But yeah, I mean, it is just a little insane to think about that Tao, this is his first card ever in this game. And this goes back to what I was talking about with Hit, is eventually Hit is not gonna be on the level of Tao. He's never gonna be on the level of Tao, but it's eventually you're gonna have so much new Dragon Ball media ahead of you, and Dragon Ball's not done. I mean, I don't know if Black Frieza the last arc, no one even knows that. And if it keeps marching forward, I mean, how this is probably our only Tao we're ever gonna see in this game, right? Which is fine, but I mean, Hit is probably gonna get one or two more cards, right? Like, there's just a certain point where you're just sitting here like, man, I don't know what to expect for some people in this game, because I mean, this game's gonna keep advancing and keep adding new stuff that is going to change, you know, what we should expect for every celebration. So again, I am glad that Tao got his card. He definitely deserved it, but this is probably the only Tao we're ever seeing in this game as a Dokkan Fest or LR that is summonable in the future. Next, we have DBZ Tien. I'm glad Tien also finally got his first premium card in the game, really altogether. I mean, he doesn't have a DFE, he doesn't have an LR. This is his first, and not summonable. I mean, when I made this is all summonable stuff. This is Tien's first summonable card in the game that is premium. Not a side banner unit, an LR, or a Dokkan Fest. First one ever. DBZ Tien. He definitely has one more representation, if not two more representations in this game that deserve LRs or Dokkan Fest, and that's one of them is the one-handed Tri-Beam where he fights Nappa, and the other one, and that could be just a Tien and Chatsu card, to be honest. Then you also have the when he fights Cell, the second form Cell, when he does his Neo Tri-Beam. Those are the two appearances I think Tien also deserves representation on, but I am glad that he got his DB Saga representation, especially because that's when he's introduced, that's when he's the big bad, you know, so it is good that Tien got his card. But 100% sitting here, like, I do think we probably should see more of Tien. I mean, not every year, maybe every 2 years or 3 years, just to get the rest of the Tiens out of the way. Because once again, as I mentioned, they're gonna prioritize more stuff and more hype. So in this kind of dead period, try to get as much out as you can. Krillin, that's you too. You know, maybe a new Roshi card. Let's get these guys out so that, you know, we just have them in the game for representation reasons. Like Android 19 doesn't have a card in this game, by the way, that's a summonable LR or a summonable DFE. Just FYI. So, you know, again, Tien is really good, by the way. I really love this card, and I'm glad he has it. But yeah, we got to get representation going here. And this is the reason why as well. And we're talking about the Wrathful Broly here. This is Broly's what? Third card since he's been revealed, right? Let's see here. We have the original physical DBS Broly, which came out not 2023. That's definitely not true. It came out in 2018. That's when 2018. That makes sense. Since then, we've had an LR DBS Broly 6 years later. It did take a while for us to get our second one, but it was the LR DBS Broly that goes into full power. And then we got the Wrathful Broly. So in 3 years, we've gotten, or sorry, in 7 years, 6 years-ish, we've gotten 3 DBS Brolys, which is pretty, you know, you're averaging a Broly every 2 years, essentially, although you kind of went back to back on these. You also got the side banner unit DBS Broly for the anniversary as well. So, you know, they do a pretty good job of making sure DBS Brolys are being produced here. But as I mentioned, because he's a new material, they want to keep producing these kind of Brolys. And, you know, if you want to take a step further, you know, like we got our first ever summonable DFE LR Broly. Sorry, not DFE, just, well, I guess DFE and Carnival LR Brolys since 2019, just last year. You know, it is, so it's a lot of times they're going to prioritize the new stuff. And again, this is DBS Broly's third card. I wouldn't even surprise in 2 years we see another DBS Broly card. Maybe it's like Wrathful to Super Saiyan, or maybe like a Broly that goes from base all the way to full power, or maybe just a standalone full power Broly, right? Like DBS Broly is going to get another LR within the next 2 or 3 years. You can quote me now. That I think that's going to happen. And it's not because that he's out of representation or anything. It's just he's the newer product. And again, I'm glad Wrathful Broly finally got a card, because Wrathful Broly, you know, wasn't even in the game. Like, minus this like garbage side banner unit, which was cool in release, but nowhere near good now. There was nothing in this game about Wrathful Broly at all. And now he finally got his LR earlier this year, which is great. He definitely deserved it. He definitely needed it. But I mean, it took 7 years for Wrathful Broly to get in this game. That just shows you, like, when you get newer stuff, man, it's going to be crazy how much they dominate the market. All the final forms will be in the game, and then they'll eventually revisit stuff, of course. But yeah, I mean, it's still crazy that yes, it did take 7 years for Wrathful Broly to get in this game, but they've covered a lot of DBS Broly in 7 years in terms of content. You know, look at Gogeta Blue, right? So yeah, just prepare for the characters that are finally getting cards. You know, savor them now, because I just don't know how long you're going to be able to actually see them again. All right, I'm gonna do this one quick. I'm gonna try to spam the rest of this because I realize I've been yapping for a long time. But Chi-Chi is our next one. Very good that she got her representation in this game, because Peppy Gals, let's be honest, they're eventually going to get representation for pretty much all of them, all the significant female figures in this game, or in the show, I should say, not in the game. But yeah, Chi-Chi finally getting one is cool, because she doesn't really fight or anything, but she is imperative to the story. She is important to the story, of course. But yeah, it is exciting to see that she finally got one. Her intro is pretty cool. It is from the World Tournament one as well, so it is kind of cool to see all of that, because that's kind of the last time you really remembered Chi-Chi outside of her every now and again roles in Dragon Ball Z. But if you watched her in like DB, you know, that's kind of the most iconic point of Chi-Chi, maybe. So it's cool to see she has an LR here, and that she finally gets that representation she deserves. I mean, Bulma got an LR 2 years ago as a summonable LR from her, you know, her role in OG Dragon Ball as well. So it's good that they're finally getting these gals out of here, getting them into the game as premium cards. I understand this is specifically really looking at just LRs and DFEs, but I also want to look at free-play LRs as well, because it is, I think free-play LRs are kind of, they're like the lowest tier premium, in my opinion. They're still, I can't even call them free premium because they're free. But in terms of like, I don't explain it. Like, it's still kind of a nod. Like, if you're a free-play LR, like, you're being acknowledged as, you know, still having quality, right? It's not like, all right, you're just free-play, you grind them up and they don't mean anything, right? Like, Chi-Chi's probably never going to get a summonable card. So her getting a free play LR is, you know, at least a nod towards some significance in the arcs and what she's done. So glad she's in the game, glad she got that representation, because once again, I don't know if we're ever gonna see a Chi-Chi ever again in this game. Oh, this one made me so happy that we got to see him this year. I really did not think we were going to, so I'm glad that they did it. Super Baby 2. Man, it's crazy that it took us this long to get Super Baby 2 as a DFE. Right, and you're gonna say, okay, well, Super Baby 2 already has an LR in this game, so that's not fair. Okay, fine, Super Baby 1, right? Super Baby 1, this is its first representation in this game ever as a DFE or an LR. This is also, once again, like I said, our first Baby Vegeta since 2018. 7 years for Baby Vegeta to finally get in this game, and he's all right. I mean, he's not bad, he's not great, he's all right. He's there. Could be better, could be worse. I don't think there's much more to it. I think they could have done more with him. Clearly, I do think that they might have underhanded him just a tad when you look at the meta we're going to. I think he was fine until they brought out the Tamagami 1 fight. I think a lot of units actually were better until they brought out the Tamagami 1 fight, man. That fight is something, man. That fight is a little scary. I don't love it. I don't love that Tamagami 1 fight, man. I'll be so real with you. I really don't like it at all. But I am excited to see what they do with a Baby in the future. I do think that he deserves maybe an LR in the future, going from base all the way up to like grade 8 Baby or something like that. That'd be really cool. Just something we haven't seen before, right? Like, I think there's a lot of things we need to start seeing in this game, especially with Super Baby, that kind of needs to be translated into LRs. It's interesting to see what they do with this game. They have a lot of iconic bosses they can always go to for the GDC or any other future celebrations. We'll kind of see what they're trending toward or thinking about as they go on. Are more villains going to be a part of Anniversary? Probably not. Generally, they're super class, but we'll see what they do with them. Next, we have Possessed GT Goten and Gohan. I know this one's not like, oh, they're finally here. Like, I don't know how many people were like on their knees begging for these two to be in the game, minus like the 3 GT Goten stands I know, but that's useless bits. Anyways, yeah, I think it's cool that they're in the game. I'm glad they're a decent card too, unless you're fighting Tamagami 1. But, you know, I'm glad they're in the game. I'm glad they have really high dodge chance. They're going to age really well outside of dodge canceling fights, you know, Tamagami 1. But it is good that they have these representation in the game. Once again, I just don't know when you're ever going to see these guys get a card again soon. So glad they get this spot. I'm glad they actually have some form of representation in this game, because, you know, after watching those animations, I'm like, you know what, I guess they kind of deserve that Yellow Point LR spot. They were kind of significant for the Baby arc to develop and, you know, get moving. So I kind of do enjoy what they did with that. But yeah, I mean, it's be interesting to see what they do in the future with the Baby saga. If they're going to revisit it, they're going to give us more side banner units or LRs or DFPs. I don't know, but it's safe to say it's going to be a while before we see the Baby saga revisited, especially because, you know, literally a year and a half before, or I guess about 2 years, they got the full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku from the Baby fight, and then we just got the Super Saiyan 4 regular Goku from the transformation of the Baby fight, and then we got Baby, and we got the GT Saiyan. So they've covered a lot of the Baby saga this year, which is good. But yeah, so go ahead and savor that Baby now, because I don't know how. It's probably 2030 when we see Baby Vegeta again, bro. All right, and then we have Nuova Shenron. It is pretty cool that he got his LR in this game. I just kind of wish that he was summonable. I think Nova is a pretty significant character inside of the Shadow Dragon saga. So it is a little interesting that they didn't give him more, or Dokkan Fest with, like, I think Dokkan Fest tag Nova and Ice would be a really cool card to see. A little shocked that they did not approach Nuova Shenron with anything more significant than this, but the LR, again, like I mentioned with Chi-Chi, is a good nod towards the significance of this character. Still, again, probably could have gotten more, could have been more significant down the road. Not much more I gotta think about this. I'm gonna start kind of cutting it off here, but yeah, Nuova Shenron, glad you guys represented. All right, finally, / honorable mentions is just the diamond units, right? We don't know about the adults yet. If you saw my video sometime somewhere, I don't know where it's at, but the Daima adults I do expect to see down the road. I do expect to see them shortly, sooner rather than later. I think the Daima adults are going to be very interesting to see, but we got Gloria, we got Mini Goku, we got the Mini Vegeta, we got Mini Super Saiyan 4 Goku, we got Gomon, we got pretty much all of the Daima, right? We're still missing Ku, we're still missing the Tamagamis. But it is good to finally see the Daima units in this game. I understand the word finally doesn't hit as hard for those as it does with the majority of this list, because, you know, we've been waiting years for most of these people, and, you know, the Daima units are like, we waited maybe a year for them. So, you know, doesn't hit as hard, but it is noteworthy, and the reason why I put them in honorable mentions because they were never in the game before, and now they are. So, anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think of the characters we finally got this year, and what characters you want to see in the future that do not have representation yet. If you guys enjoyed this video and the voice content, make sure to click the first link in the description. The second one is to all of my Dokkan Battle content videos in general, and my third one is my G Fuel link. Use code LR24 for 20% off your order. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.